The induction I prefer is the Elman induction because it's a very step-by-step procedure and it has all the tests and convincers built right into it. Plus, you can pretty much adapt it to any client, so you don't need a bunch of different inductions. The Elman induction begins with an Eyelock test. Now, the Eyelock test is where you give the suggestion to relax the eyelids to the point that they just won't work. And when you're convinced that they won't work, give them a little test and satisfy yourself that they're not going to work. So the eyes are closed and you just relax them to the point they just won't work, and then you test. So this can be used to convince a client that something is happening. It's not really a test for hypnosis. It's too soon for that. The Eyelock test is simply a test for compliance. Some people think that compliance means control, but all compliance means is cooperation. It shows whether or not the client is willing to cooperate by following your instructions. Now, this is useful feedback, but it's also a test that the client can fail. So what can happen is you give them the instructions to relax the eyelids to the point they just won't work. And then when they go ahead and test them, the eyes open and they look at you like, what? Sometimes it's because you just weren't clear with the instructions. Sometimes it's because the client wasn't really paying attention. And sometimes it's because they're challenging you. They're thinking, go ahead, make me. The problem is now you have to deal with that. And that takes time. Now, for some reason, they're not following your instructions, they're not cooperating, and you need to do something about that. So how would you like to make sure that the client is going to pass the test before you actually give them the test? How'd you like to make your test fail-safe? It's all in your setup. This little trick works every time, and you can use it in individual sessions and you can use it in group sessions, and it works with everyone. What it does is it makes the client responsible for the result. So if they fail the test, it's not that it didn't work, it's just that the client didn't do it right. And that's okay because they're just learning, right? They're still learning the process. So it's not a big deal. And if the client is thinking, make me, this is a nice way to say no. So here's how to do it. Here's how to make it fail safe. Now, you've already established some relaxation. So all you have to do is instruct the client to bring their attention to their eyelids and double the relaxation there. Tell them to keep doubling the relaxation in the eyelids until they're sure they won't work. Tell them, I can't do this for you. So keep doubling the relaxation until you're sure they won't work. Now, here's how to make it fail safe. Tell the client, if those eyelids were to open, it would simply mean that you need to double the relaxation a few more times. So keep doubling that relaxation until you're sure they won't work. Do you see how this makes the client responsible for the result? Now all you have to do is tell them, when you feel that those eyelids are that relaxed that they just won't work, take a nice, deep, relaxing breath in, and as you release the breath, go deeper. Now, all you have to do is sit back and watch for the breath, and you'll know that they've relaxed the eyelids to that point. So now you can conduct the test. As soon as you see that in-breath, just say, as you exhale, melt down and go deeper, relaxed, and you're all set to go. So the next step is to conduct the test. This is where you're going to ask them to make sure that the eyelids won't work. And the way to do this is to tell a client, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to check to make sure that they won't work. And if you have followed my instructions, the eyebrows may go up and down, but the eyelids will stay relaxed and remain closed. Now, you're just reminding the client who's responsible for the result. They are. You can't make them relax. And the suggestion for the eyebrows to go up and down, this gives you another visual cue. You'll know when the client is actually performing the test because the eyebrows will tell you. So their eyelids may be closed, but when you see this, you'll know that they're testing. So watch carefully because every client's going to be different. Some will give you the Groucho Marx eyebrow lift, and others it will just be a little twitch or a little flicker. So now all you need to do is say, go ahead, give them a little check and satisfy yourself that they won't work. Now this tells them that they're not trying to prove anything to you, they're just satisfying themselves. When the client passes the Eyelock test the first time, it doubles as a convincer. And some clients will be really surprised by this. So when they pass the test, just say, "That's good, stop testing," and go deeper relaxed. And now you're all set up for the next step, which is to transfer that little bit of relaxation in the eyelids. You want to transfer that into the rest of the body.